I've sold over 100,000 t-shirts, generating over 5 million in sales, selling print on demand. And as you can imagine, I made a ton of mistakes along the way. In this video, I'm going to go over the 5 biggest mistakes that I have made thus far in my print on demand career, so that whether you're trying to sell your 100th shirt or make your first shirt order, you can avoid what I didn't. By avoiding these mistakes, you will surely be saving both time and money. Now, before we get into the 5 different mistakes that I've made, you're going to want to stick around to the end because I leave my biggest mistake for last. And I guarantee if you make this mistake, you will lose a ton of money. But enough about that. Let's get into these mistakes and get this ball rolling. The first mistake that we're going to talk about is not picking the right niche. When I was first starting out in print on demand, my first store had absolutely no niche whatsoever. I simply went onto Etsy, went onto Google. I was looking up different t-shirt designs and basically just picking out what I liked and thought other people would also like. There was no rhyme, no reason. There was florals, there were humorous shirts, there was plant shirts, car shirts, you name it. The site was just a mismatch of an abomination, a mess. It just made absolutely no sense. So then when I tried to start driving traffic to it, I couldn't even figure out who would actually want to end up and land on that site. There was no way to optimize for my traffic. So sit down, do some research. It could be something that you really love and something that you're passionate about. If you're super passionate about it, I'm sure other people are also super passionate about it. So just taking the time to research and then finding designs within the actual niche will help so much when trying to drive traffic to the site. This will save you a ton of time and will probably save you money as well, because you're not just going to throw away money to Facebook ads. Mistake number 2 is going to be a slow site. This is a mistake that I see all the time, and that even happens on big brands. Have you ever gone to a website and you're trying to, let's just say, look for a cute top to wear out for one night, and you're trying to get on the website and it just simply isn't loading? And you're like, is it my computer? Is it my Wi-Fi? Chances are it's not. It's actually the website speed. This is something that happens as companies get bigger and bigger and they need more data and more space for all the products that they're putting on their site. This can even happen on Shopify stores and has happened to mine time and time again. As you add more applications to your store, it's generally going to start slowing down your site. If you're not shrinking the sizes of your pictures, that's going to slow down your site. They're just kind of best practices to do to keep your site speed as quick as possible. If it's not loading, then people aren't going to be checking out. This is going to save you both time, because you're not going to be dealing with a big, huge headache after all of the mess has happened. And it's going to save you money because you're going to actually have people able to check out on your site. So if you're on your Shopify store and you're seeing that your conversion rate is really low, your site speed is really low, chances are if you fix that site speed, more people are going to convert. Don't be sleeping on those Shopify analytics. They're there for a reason. By simply going to your store's Shopify page, you can actually click on online store and it will give you the breakdown at the top. So Shopify recently changed what their site speed looks like, but now you have like loading speed and it gives you a rating of good or great or bad. Right now our shop is in good, so that works for us. It's simply loading at a decent time. People aren't leaving. Our conversion rate is normal, but don't be sleeping on these analytics. Keep a close eye on them and make sure that you are cutting ads that you're no longer using, that you're compressing product photos. This way it's not just taking up so much space and needing more time to load before a customer actually sees the picture or is able to check out. This is absolutely going to save you time and money on your Shopify store. Mistake number 3. This would simply be picking a bad printer. I've worked with numerous print-on-demand companies, and some of them just do not live up to what they say that they can do. As you guys know, I still to this day use Printify. I've started with Printify, I've left Printify, and I found out that the grass isn't always greener on the other side and came back to Printify. I will sing Printify's praises. I'm not getting any kind of kickback for saying this. I simply and truly love their platform and the ease that they make in running a print-on-demand store. But I have tried other printers in the past. As I just said, I've left Printify before thinking that I could get better pricing or faster shipping time, or I could add more products to one order and then save on shipping, and just did not work out. It actually turned into a bigger headache. I had huge backlogs of shipments just not going out, taking forever for customers to actually receive their order, like well over a month for a domestic order. They were in the United States. It should not take 30 days to print a t-shirt and get it to a customer's doorstep in the United States. It's one thing if somebody, from the Philippines or Taiwan or somebody across the world, Australia, has ordered from your site. Yeah, it's going to take a lot longer to ship that shirt. It's halfway around the world. But I was running into this problem time and time again. I was really only at these other printers for a few months before quickly realizing that I needed to get back onto Printify and just having that sense of knowing that all of my orders were being taken care of and that I knew had good customer service. Time and time again, I would never leave Printify again at this point. They are rock solid in what they do. They give you real reliable ratings on their printers, so don't pick the wrong printer. Of course, shop around, see what's gonna work best for you, but do your research. It's not always greener on the other side. Okay, now we're over halfway through my 5 biggest mistakes, but remember, my last mistake is the biggest mistake that I've made so far in my print-on-demand career, so don't miss out on finding out what that is. But let's get into mistake number 4 of not keeping a close eye on my finances. This one will absolutely hurt your pocket and most likely will affect your time because you'll be scrambling to figure out where the heck did this money go, what happened to it, and just causes a lot of stress. So when I was first starting out in print on demand, I would run my finances probably once a month. At the end of the month, I would get all of my numbers together from, Printify, from Shopify, from PayPal, put it all together, and I thought everything was fine and dandy. But what I wasn't doing was running a balance sheet. So a balance sheet is basically showing you the cash flow within your business. When I finally ran a balance sheet, I would almost throw up because my balance sheet was not matching my P&L, which they're supposed to correlate with one another. What you've made in the month is supposed to match what cash you basically have in your business. And this was an absolute disaster for me. I would scramble trying to find out, where did this money go? Did I spend it on something that I missed? Was I mischarged? And I would be scrambling, going through every single invoice, every single credit card statement, trying to track down what went wrong. And in this case, what actually ended up biting me was I had made some international sales, and Printify doesn't put that in their main invoice to you. You have to actually scroll down below to see the international countries and what they charged you. So I basically thought I was making thousands of dollars. I thought my business was booming. I was doing great. I was making all this money. I was so excited. Then to realize that I missed out on accounting for $20,000 from Printify. Again, this was a rookie mistake. It was something that I learned and something that I triple check every single month, and just something to absolutely keep an eye on. It is no fun when you are trying to figure out what happened to the finances and they're not adding up. So I highly, highly suggest running a daily P&L and a daily balance sheet. That way you're keeping a very close eye on your finances. If something slipped, you can absolutely go in and figure out before it turns into a huge snowball effect. I could not suggest more to run these every single day. If you do not know what a balance sheet is or what a P&L is, I've linked my school account below. You can click them. They're a free download. Use them and keep track of your finances. There's no worse feeling than actually losing money on a business. Okay, let's get into my biggest and final mistake of running a print-on-demand store. This is mistake number 5, an out-of-stock nightmare. When I was starting out in print-on-demand, I liked all the different fun colored t-shirts. As you're on Printify, you'll notice they have Kelly green, tropical blue. Those colors are not typical colors that printers are going to keep a ton of stock in. Just to keep in mind. You can absolutely sell them, but just know that if you have an ad that scales and does really, really well, there's a chance of running into the issue of out of stock. Now, if it's a black t-shirt, Printify now can, reroute it and make it pretty easy to get your customer their order as quickly as they possibly can. But if you are picking a color that only 1 or 2 printers have, you may be digging yourself into a huge hole. This is something that I did. I loved tropical blue. I added it to my website, and it just so happened that the tropical blue t-shirt with the design that I had on Facebook ads completely scaled. We probably sold 30,000 t-shirts with this color and design. So of course it turned into a huge logistical nightmare. The printer didn't have any more in stock. They didn't know when they were getting more in stock. I had already sold a ton of t-shirts. And so it was an absolute nightmare trying to work with Printify, trying to work with customers. People were, writing into customer service super mad because they didn't get their order, and I don't blame them. I'm responsible for getting you the order, and it just turned into an absolute nightmare. I ended up having to go in and refund all of these customers' orders because we just could not keep up with the pace. It was absolutely devastating when you have a design and a color that is completely scaling and doing really well. And it just did. It bit me in the butt. It was a total nightmare mess that we had to deal with. To this day, I very, very rarely will pick colors that are outside of the norm. So we always have navy, we always have black, white, sometimes red, but not even a lot of red. We'll do royal blue, we'll do sports gray, charcoal potentially. These are all big colors that most printers A, have, and B, have a ton of stock in, because that's just the majority of what's selling. I have not put tropical blue back on any brand that I've sold because I just am scarred from that situation. It was a time nightmare trying to deal with the customer service stuff, trying to deal with customer service with Printify. It was a complete waste of money. We ended up having to refund. We got chargebacks. It sucked. So be really careful when you're looking to add some of those fun, funky colors. If it takes off and scales, that's amazing, but you may run into that issue on the back end. And that's kind of one of the issues with print on demand. We don't know the inventory, we don't know the stock, but you can work with their customer service to get an idea of how much they have. But this is something to keep in mind. This was, to this day, the biggest mistake that I have ever made in running my print-on-demand store. It really hurt having to refund all of those orders instead of being able to ship them out and making really big profit on those orders. So that is my biggest mistake to this day. Please comment below. Let me know what your mistakes have been so far. I think talking about these mistakes will help prevent others from stumbling into the same mistakes and situations. I think everybody should have each other's backs. So comment below what your biggest mistake has been to this day. And I've linked the school community on this description. If you would like to join and network with other people who are in print on demand and new to print on demand, it's a great way to connect and network and just have other people who are going through the same kind of stuff that you're going through. We also have some free downloads on there. The link is below, but please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification button so that when new videos drop, you're the first to find out. Thanks, guys.